I would like to welcome all of you to today's Power Your Lunch Hour program. I'm Vanessa Hansel, the Assistant Director at the North 65 Chamber of Commerce, and I'm happy to be here with all of you today. We are recording today's presentation and the Q&A session, and you'll be able to find that at a later date on the North 65 Chamber website. If you have questions, feel free to put those in the chat, and we will also have a Q&A session at the end with Kirsten where you'll be able to ask her any questions that you may have. And now I would like to introduce today's guest speaker, Kirsten Lancrane. Kirsten is the owner of Pounce Media Marketing, and she is here today to share information about how you can make your social media pages professional and appealing to stand out from the crowd. So please join me in welcoming Kirsten.
Hi. So like Vanessa said, my name is Kirsten. I'm the owner of Pounce Media Marketing. My expertise lies within social media marketing. So I am familiar with other aspects and methods of marketing, but I do specialize in social media marketing. Currently, social media marketing is the most cost-effective way to market your business. So today I'm here to give you some tips on how to make your social media appear more professional. And I'm just going to jump right into this slide here. Okay. I'm just going to move all of you over to the side there. Okay, so today's presentation is on professionalism and social media. Why is the appearance of your page so important? If you think about it, when you're walking into a business, you're walking into a restaurant or some kind of store, the first thing you're going to do is look around and you're going to notice whether it's clean, whether it's organized, put together, whether the staff looks professional. And that's kind of your first impression of this place. Nowadays, a lot of people aren't walking into these stores to get their first impression. They are going online and looking at your information on social media or on Google or wherever else they can find it. So this is your first impression on social media. This is why it's so important. If you were to compare two different restaurants that both serve Mexican food, and you're looking at one on social media that looks, the pictures are kind of dark. It's kind of hard to see the food. There might be a dirty table in the background or, napkins on the floor, but they have really good reviews, right? So you look at this other restaurant that has bright, clean images, clean background, also has good reviews. The one you're going to choose is probably going to be the cleaner looking one, even though they both have good reviews, because that is your first impression. Same with a photographer. If you were to look and compare their pictures, you're going to choose the photographer with the better looking pictures and the better looking social media all around. Same with a boutique. If they're taking a picture of a product and you see all this clutter in the background because they took the picture in their storage room versus a boutique who staged it nicely and took a well-lit picture, you're probably going to choose the nicer boutique. So that is why it is so important for your page to appear professional. Cleanliness. When it comes to social media, cleanliness is just the overall appearance. Your cover photo, for example, if you were to use just text and you're writing out the name of your business, like for me, it'd be Pounce Media Marketing. I'm going to want to choose a font that is legible and simple and bold enough that it's easy to read. And in the background, you want to make sure that is also super clean and simple. So you don't have a bunch of stuff behind it that is taking your focus away from what the focus should be on. And if you're taking pictures of your establishment to be used as your cover photo, those should also be professional and clean. You don't want to see a bunch of potholes in the background or garbage on the ground or spider webs hanging from the doorway. You want to make sure that that looks clean if you're putting it on social media. After this presentation, I would recommend, if you haven't already, going through your social media pages and looking at all of your pictures and all of your posts and getting rid of anything that doesn't look professional, because you are better off having less material on there than a bunch of stuff that doesn't look professional. So be mindful of that while we're going through this presentation. You might actually think of some things while you're listening here. Reviews. So this is a fun thing that I recommend to my clients to do when they're doing their own social media. Their problem is they're blanking. They can't come up with content to post every day. Well, one issue that a lot of people have is going to look at a business and struggling to find their reviews. Not everyone is very familiar with social media, and it's hard for them to dig through and find these certain aspects. So what I recommend is taking a review and making it into a post. So make it an image, go into your editing apps and choose a nice background and type out what the review is and use that as a post. So then when people are looking through your pictures, they can see your reviews in your pictures as well. And it's just way easier. It also looks professional. You're promoting yourself. You're sharing your reviews. It's a good idea overall. All right, hiding comments. So this one, I highly recommend if you don't know anything about this yet. So hiding a comment is similar to deleting a comment, except the person who wrote it doesn't know that you hid their comment. So you can hide the comment from the public, but not the person who wrote it. So it's a way to avoid conflicts and confrontations in the comment section. They might have written something inappropriate or offensive, and it's just easier to hide that comment sometimes. You avoid that conflict altogether. And then nobody else can see it, and the person who wrote it has no idea that you hid it. If you don't know how to do that, I can explain it later, but it's a very easy thing to do to avoid the unnecessary conflicts that you might come across. All right, profile picture, which is arguably the most important part of your social media. And this also depends on which platform you're using. Some platforms you're going to use a picture of your face. Some platforms you're going to use just your business logo. Some you might use a picture of your staff or your actual building you work out of. But if you are using a picture of yourself, like you probably would on LinkedIn, you don't want to have any selfies. So you don't want to have a picture with your arm extended, obviously, and taking a picture of yourself. That looks very unprofessional. I would not recommend it. Minimal makeup. It's kind of like going in for a job interview. How would you want to look in a job interview? That's how you want to look in your profile picture as well. You want to have minimal makeup, professional clothing. I also think that it's acceptable if you're wearing merchandise with your business logo on it. So if you have, you work at a flower shop and you have an apron with your name on it, or you have a t-shirt with your business name on it, or a sweatshirt or whatever else, I would also pass that off as looking professional. You want to have open body language. So you don't want to have crossed arms. You want to be smiling. You don't want to, be looking down or glaring. You want to choose the right expression. So kind of like I just said about body language. You want to make sure that you have eye contact with the camera. You want this to look professional. I would suggest having professional headshots done, which I just did last week, because I'm guilty of that as well, where I do have a selfie on my LinkedIn because I didn't have any professional pictures taken. So I would highly recommend going and doing that. If you are taking a picture of yourself, because it is possible to take a professional picture of yourself, make sure that the background is clean and it's attractive and there's no clutter. The bigger the smile, the better the first impression. And one thing that the photographer told me was make sure to smile with your eyes. Otherwise, you look a little bit crazy because you're wide-eyed with the big smile, and it does come off as a little crazy looking. So make it genuine and make it real instead of worrying about what your face looks like so much. Just look inviting and happy, and people are more likely to reach out to you. I actually just read an article about that on LinkedIn, about how the more genuine your smile and your body language looks in a picture, the more likely people are to reach out to you. So keep that in mind. And for different platforms, your profile picture might look different because LinkedIn is obviously your business platform. So you're going to want a picture of yourself. For Facebook, you can really do anything with Facebook as long as it's professional looking on your business page. And same with Instagram. I feel like you can do a variety of things, but it has to look professional. 3 things that I recommend keeping off of your business page at all times, no matter the reason: politics, personal problems, and religion. You have a personal page for a reason, and that is the place that you would share these opinions and thoughts if you have them. Don't ever post it on your business page. I had a client during this last election, which we all know was very intense, and this client posted about their thoughts on the election, and it ended up blowing up in their face. They lost a lot of business, had a lot of people reaching out and bullying this individual. These people were sharing it and encouraging other people to not take their business to this individual, and it ended up just being really, really bad, and it became my problem to fix it, and it took a long time to repair that damage. So I would highly recommend never putting these things on your social media, on your business page. I would even go as far as to say that if you have part of your name in your business as well, I wouldn't even post these things on your personal page, because that can be very obviously led back to your business. Like if it's called Jim's Plumbing, or you have your last name in there, and people can connect you very easily to that, and people are not afraid to take you down that way. So be very mindful of what you're even posting on your personal page. I mean, if you want to post those things, you can. I think it's acceptable. You should have a place you can express yourself, but be mindful still of what you're posting. Engagement. So engagement on social media, this is where you are talking with your audience through comments, or you're commenting on someone else's post, or whatever it may be. You're communicating with your audience. You want to avoid negative conflicts on your page if at all possible. If someone has an issue that's simple to resolve, then go ahead and solve it right there on your page. It's only going to make you look better. If it's, someone has an issue with shipping or a missing product or anything that's easy to fix, you can resolve it right there on your page, and that's not a big deal. But if the issue is more complicated and it's starting to cause a lot of drama, immediately move that conversation to Messenger or email or a phone call. Anything else, just move it elsewhere, so you're not leaving a bunch of drama in your comment thread for everyone else to see. It just makes it look messy, and it looks unprofessional. So I would suggest moving that and cleaning that up when you're done, so it doesn't look so terrible. One thing I should mention is if you're getting a bad review or an opinion about your establishment in your comments, I would not recommend deleting it, because that only makes it worse, because that person who left that comment is not going to be happy with that. And every business is going to have a negative review at some point. So just leave it there. Don't delete it. Don't hide it. Just leave it for everyone to see, because people should be able to express their opinions and reviews about your establishment. All right. So if someone is having a confrontation with someone else, deleting those comments or hiding them is acceptable. And what I mean by this is you have 2 people in your comments on a post who are arguing with each other, trying to stir up trouble, whatever you want to call it. If they're having a confrontation in your comments, I just delete them altogether. It's happened to me a couple of times. It has absolutely nothing to do with my business or what I posted, and it's just 2 people being immature and arguing with each other. So I just delete them altogether and get rid of them. You can hide them if you want, but if that conversation continues, you have to keep going back and checking and hiding more of them. So I prefer to just delete them altogether. And if they have a problem with it, they'll usually reach out to you through Messenger. And in that case, you just have to obviously explain it in a professional way, why you deleted it and why their conversation didn't belong there in the first place. All right, harassment and bullying. I feel very strongly about this one, so I'm just going to tell you that before I get started. My daughter was bullied the last 3 years of school. So every year she's been in school so far, she has been bullied. Throughout my college career, I did write a lot of papers, a lot of research papers about bullying and cyberbullying. And if you don't know what cyberbullying is, it is bullying through online resources. So while we were all kids growing up, if you were getting bullied, you could probably go home after school and get away from it somehow. With cyberbullying, that follows you home. If you have internet access or you're a teenager with a phone, you're going to have social media, you're going to see these things, and people will continue to bully you even when you're not at school. And another way people do this is, through social media. So if you come across anyone who is trying to bully on your business page, I would recommend just deleting the comments if it's not a repeat offender, or you can block that person from your page entirely so that they're not able to do that anymore. Allowing bullying to happen on your business page makes you look careless or irresponsible. It makes it look like you don't care, almost like you're encouraging it. It's not a good look. Cyberbullying is an all-time high. Just don't be a part of it. Just squash it as soon as you notice it happening. And just be mindful of other people's comments, because sometimes people misinterpret things as well. So you just kind of have to use your best judgment and make sure that you're not encouraging someone bullying someone else. This one is a big pet peeve of mine, using proper grammar, punctuation, and spelling. I get that it's not everyone's strength to use proper grammar or punctuation or spelling, just like math isn't a strength of mine, but I do use apps and stuff to make sure that my math is correct when I do have to do math. And there are also ways that you can improve your grammar, punctuation, or spelling. There are apps out there. You can type in what you're going to put on your post into even just a Word document, and it's going to recommend, fixing your spelling and your punctuation. And when that's all fixed, you can just copy it and paste it onto your social media. There are ways to fix this. When you're choosing an establishment, you want to feel like the owner is educated and therefore an expert in their field of work. And if someone isn't capitalizing the first word of a sentence, or they're, instead of typing out YOU for you, they're just using the letter U, that makes you look really bad. I don't think I'm alone in saying that. It makes you look uneducated. It immediately discredits you. If you want an expert and you want to feel confident in that person and confident that they know what they're doing, and this is one way that you can deter people from coming to your business, especially if you have a competitor who is doing all the things I'm mentioning to make their page stand out and look more professional. Chances are you're going to lose business and you don't even know about it. Be sure to proofread every post and comment before posting it. And after you posted it, go ahead and check it again to make sure that it is indeed correct. It doesn't hurt to check. You can always edit it after you post it. So just be sure to do that. That is it for my presentation today. If you have any questions, I have listed here my website and my email and my phone number. I do consultations. So I go through your social media and I audit it and help you figure out what you're doing wrong. I look at your analytics and I can help you create an effective social media strategy. I do content creation. I have several packages that you can choose from. Some people just have me run their social media all together. That's basically what I do. I do a lot of things. So just check out my website, take a look, and If you see anything you have questions on or want to know more about, feel free to contact me.
Thank you, Kirsten, so much for that great session today on social media. Does anyone have any questions for Kirsten? Lena.
I do actually. So in regard to hiding comments, so I've noticed that you can tell when comments are hidden, right? Because it'll say, I've come across things that say like 32 comments, but then when I click, I can't see any of them. Is that when they're hidden or is that when they're deleted?
No, that's usually if someone has they're not public or something is restricted for some reason. When it's hidden, you might see that it says 7 comments, but only 6 are visible to you.
Mm-hmm.
But only the public can see that. The person who typed it in, it's going to look completely normal, completely the same. And that's the whole point, is to avoid that conflict with that person specifically. So you can hide their comment and they don't know about it.
Okay.
So you'll come across that a lot.
So it's better, I guess that's my question, because like coming across it, it's like, why are 30 of the comments about this hidden? Like what's going on and why are they hiding it? I guess as a other potential customer, I'm wondering that.
Right.
Like you're saying it's better to hide it than to have an open conflict.
Yeah, it depends on, I mean, use your best judgment. I don't think it looks good if you have 30 of your comments hidden.
Okay.
But it could be the people who wrote the comments don't have their Facebook is private, so you can't read their comments. They're just set, they have their settings set a certain way. It'd be really rare for 30 different people to have that, unless it's the same person commenting a lot. But that's where you're better off deleting a comment than constantly hiding them.
Be too many where it looks suspicious. Okay.
Yeah, right.
Good question. Will?
Hi, this one's going on to that idea of cyberbullying. And my question is, when do you kind of draw the line of what do you consider to be bullying and what do you consider to be like a discussion? Just more, I'm just like thinking, because I know you were discussing when people are almost having like arguments online and you'd say you would delete the comments or get rid of them. But what do you consider, like, would you say someone who's actually making direct threats or actually name calling, or more of, I think you're a fool? I guess, when's the line do you say, no, that's not acceptable on the business page anymore, these comments are going to be deleted?
Right. I tell this to people a lot. There is a difference between an argument and a debate. So a debate is typically, it's more professional and respectful. You're viewing each other's points and you're not using bad language. You're not talking disrespectfully. And with an argument, you're more than likely it's going to be a little more heated. People might be swearing or insulting each other. That's the kind of thing you don't want on your page. If it's just a debate that you feel is professional and might even be educational, just leave it there. But if people are getting really nasty with each other, that's when I draw the line. When they start swearing and throwing out curse words, that's when I start to delete stuff, because that's when it's crossed a line, in my opinion. I mean, you have to use your best judgment in that situation, but if you put yourself in the other person's shoes or in both of their shoes, and if someone was saying that to you and you feel like it would be inappropriate, that's when you would want to draw that line.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions about content, specific platforms?
I want to go off Will's question. So does that also mean, I'm one of those that my name is searchable as my business, so I'm really careful anyway. But like say on LinkedIn, I get into there's a lot of debatable topics on LinkedIn, and I get into a debate on somebody else's post and thread. Is that searchable? Like if somebody searches me on LinkedIn, will that activity come up as well?
I don't think it will.
Okay,
I've never tried searching on there, but I wouldn't think that it would. Not unless they're really, really digging. I don't even know how you would find what you commented on, but
Okay.
yeah, that's a good question. I've never actually tried to find other people's comments and whatnot. So sometimes it does show up in your friend's newsfeed that you commented on something, and that post will pop up on their newsfeed. So I'd be careful if it's something you don't want people to read. Otherwise, if someone is coming in, in the future and looking back, they probably can't see that comment, or it won't pop up for them.
Okay.
Anyone else? If not, if you think of something later, you have Kirsten's contact information. We will be sending out a wrap-up follow-up email concluding today's session, and I will provide her contact information there for you as well. So if no further questions, I'd like to thank Kirsten again for being here today, for sharing that great information with us about social media, how to keep our pages professional, ideas on content to share. And we hope you can all join us next time for Power Your Lunch Hour. It's held on the 4th Tuesday of every month. And these 30-minute quick sessions are designed to provide you with focused, valuable training that you can do right at your desk while you eat your lunch. And we will always have this session online. So that's something to look for. All the latest information on this program and other chamber events can be found on our website, which is north65chamber.com. And I will stay on Zoom for a few minutes after we conclude today. If you have any other further questions or discussion, I'd like to thank everyone for joining us and have a great rest of your day.